time, shielding the ball. And in a game of football, not to lose sight of the ball, you concentrate on the ball, don't listen to people. Foul, Power with the free kick. Fayo Tembo coming into life. And perhaps knowing that the attention is going to be on Fayo Tembo. But they've done well to cover him up, but he's beginning to just see those spaces. As you can see the interchange of wings between him and Kennedy Mdenda. Two-man war for mighty Mufulira Wanderers. And here comes the ball. Hit too much, and it will go out for a goal kick.
The players that normally have good afternoons or when they have good games, Power tends to play well.
Well, the coach wants Fayo in a much more central attacking role. 10 minutes left before going on the break, but you were saying?
So I was talking about the players that tend to be on song for Power if they're having a good afternoon. None of them are really playing some decent football, with the exception of Fayo, who we've seen every now and then. You know, but truth be told, Kelvin Kampamba Mwanga has been a shadow of himself, Larry Walia, and in particular Kennedy Mdenda with his nice, devastating runs on the flanks. We haven't seen a lot of that.
Well, perhaps not, because his switch side is on the other side. He gives the ball to Larry Walia, who doesn't hold on to it, but it's back to him, Lawrence Chungu, to decide. And, well, he was stretching it. He was trying to find Kampamba, who slipped. Throw it into Mufulira Wanderers. And Mighty taking the ball forward. Oh, they do have what it takes to just maintain the energy. They are playing in front of a capacity crowd here at Shinde Stadium. We're in Section 8 of Mufulira. It's a great mining town with a great history, great names behind the history of the club. Chiwe with a clearance. Kampamba with a touch on that lands on the opponent in progress. Kalenga was holding on, very, very physical, not letting the ball go easily. This is Warren Kunda trying to sneak in that tough pass. Tembo playing well. Now Power have a chance, but the flag is up. And Patson Daka might want to check his line properly, because too many offside calls against you start becoming frustrating for the rest of the team.
The 1-2s are obviously just improving by Power, but their movement is still dreadful, because when they were in that position, they didn't really give a lot of options to the passer. The creativity could not really be seen. Should have been running obviously slightly outwards to allow for more space. But then again, maybe that's what they've been planning on in the training ground.
Kativa, as he was falling, trying to just make sure that he has the last touch on the ball. Mighty just allowing Power Dynamos now to have a little bit more of the ball. They need to be consistent. That approach that they've had has certainly been effective. They've just been unlucky not to be leading in the game so far. There is a player that needs attention as medics run on for some attention.
Chmunya Munene, who played very well in the last game, and his coach Mlenga Chewe obviously deciding to bring him on, but it looks like he's got a little bit of a hip injury. Well, Munene obviously in that instance was there was a little bit of an altercation. It's actually Joseph Kasongo. Looked a little bit like Munene from where I stood.
number 3 wabo so that tabetation tabakweli but sent wa place ngati wakulia ama process study with study perfect otwalangisha kwa kwine kulia maboss kwa kwine kunyo besani ukonke 10 twinge mbox mnamwe chenka twa chenka.
A whole lot of instructions there from Mr. Chewe. He knows he can feel it, he can sense it. It's so near, but maybe so far. But you have to take advantage of the tide. When the game seems to be in your favor, you need to take advantage and not miss the ball in that fashion. Raheem for the chase, adding pressure. They're looking good still, Mufulira Wanderers, but meeting a side that knows what it means to be under pressure in power. When the ball is in the air, it's anybody's ball, and it could be Warren Kunda's ball if you consider the height advantage. Robert Mwanza comes out to collect. 5 minutes left of official play remaining. He hasn't had a lot of problems, Robert Mwanza, to be honest.
Oh, just that dead ball, the free kick that was hit right at goal by Kelvin Kapamba Mwanga. He didn't really parry it in the right way, but other than that, he looked like a player on holiday.
A push on the Mufulira captain.
Taonga Wembe obviously looking to get the better of Kwayo Tembo and Kelvin Kampamba there, but players tend to always use hands, which is not really allowed in the modern game of football. You might even pick up a yellow card.
Benson Sakala, he's had a busy day at the office this afternoon. He would tell you that it's not been the easiest to deal with the likes of Progress Kalenga in the battle and control of the midfield, but here come Pod Animals, a chance to just go ahead, and it's a corner kick. That was an interesting run, one that leaves a bit of question to be answered by this Mufulira Wanderers side. Warren Kunda found himself in an awkward position as Mudenda was a bit too fast.
Well, Mdenda will have all these players bidding for pace, the likes of Warren Kunda and Chimunya. Maybe Kamanga Jr. Will be somebody who can stop him, but we expect that from Mdenda. Run through the flanks, put a ball in the center, but we haven't seen that this afternoon.
Tembo with delivery as far as the corner kick is concerned, but could do much better to make the ball reach his intended target in much better fashion. And here's what could potentially be problematic for Cameron. It's an old goal. Poor Animals succumb to the pressure. It was always coming, and it comes. And Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, it's Francis Kasonde who makes a mistake, and it's just 2 minutes to go. Mufulira Wanderers can celebrate, and it is all to the pressure. It was too much, and it had to come. Something had to give, and Mufulira Wanderers deservedly leading 1-0 as it was, and just a lot of regret on the face of Kasonde.
On the last water break, Austin Banda was told that you need to be persistent on the flank. You need to obviously put the ball in the box because we're going to score from there. And that ball was looking to be given to Raheem. Raheem was not in the right position. The pressure coming through, and Kasonde could not just control play. And that's what happens when you continue mounting pressure. Mufulira Wanderers have managed to push Power Dynamos. Francis Kasonde scores an own goal at the Shinde Stadium.
And so, just before going on the break, it's Mighty Mufulira Wanderers in the lead by 1-0, courtesy of an own goal by Francis Kasonde. Now we've got a game on our hands as Power Animals will want to get back before the break. Is it possible? Well, the ball is round and anything is possible. A change has been made, and it's Eric Chibuye that has come in. The writing was on the wall, to be honest. I wonder what those who predicted Mighty Mufulira Wanderers loss are saying now, as the power winner throw in. The sense of urgency creeping in. Lawrence Chungu. In the meantime, time running out. Eric Chibuye has been introduced in place of Joseph Kasongo. We've played the full regulation time, and only a minute has been added on, and understandably so. This has been generally a free-flowing game, which a Mighty Mufulira Wanderers have enjoyed immensely. Kelvin Kampamba with a throw-in, floating it into the 18, and Mighty would do well to avoid an equalizer. And Fayo Tembo just unlucky because the ball just zooms past the goal mouth, and unmarked almost, Fayo Tembo, but just hits it a bit too wide. And he knows he could have had that equalizer, Fayo. And that's the end of the first half, full of good football from Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. Francis Kasonde aids the home side with an own goal, and well, surely should be feeling bad about it, but it's a game of football and anything can happen. So you don't want to go away, because we'll be back very shortly. But as it is, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers go on the break, leading by 8-0.
A very cagey first 45 minutes between the two sides, but it is the home side, Mighty Mufulira Wanderers, that heads into the dressing room leading by a goal to nil, courtesy of Francis Kasonde. Very disappointing if you ask me about it, because then it was really headed for the halftime break on a goalless affair. But just as about we're headed into the halftime slot, and then that particular on goal comes through.
Well, Mulenga Chewe did mention to Austin Banda that, you need to maintain the flanks and you really need to kick the ball and just provide some decent play when it comes to the crosses, obviously, in that 18-yard box. And if you have a look at how that play came in, it was a very decent play. I think the pressure coming on, Kasonde had Raheem on his shoulder, and sometimes defenders tend to just do such things.
But tell you what, in the entire first 45 minutes was not inspiring to watch about it. But yet again, it was something that was really incredible to see how much the numbers in terms of the fans that had made their way into the stadium. Before we get ourselves into the talking points, there's a whole lot of running around that is taking place on the far side of the pitch. There's a swarm of bees that is apparently disturbing the peace and the calmness that the fans were enjoying watching this particular game. And as you could see, that there's a whole lot of movement that is taking place on the far side of the pitch, and this obviously certainly this is not the moment that you want to be on pitch side, Muka.
Most certainly, and I'm thinking these bees are probably coming with just a honey for the Mufulira Wanderers supporters, because at least they lead by 1 goal to nil.
Tell you what, let's put you up to scratch with what took place in as far as the first 45 minutes of this particular game. Let's start off with what came off in the opening few minutes of this particular game. Not so much of impetus did come through, but we spoke about Mike Katiba being a thorn in the flesh, operating around the midfield. But this time around, he picked it all started off the midfield, and they could have scored on this particular occasion.
Most certainly, I think Power started off strongly, but then Mighty just settled. And if you look at what Katiba had to do there, he had the beating of his marker, he had the space. It was just the placement and direction that he needed to concentrate on. But I think he was too quick to shoot at goal, and it was always rising, looking to hit it on the volley. That technique is very difficult, especially when you put your foot just under the ball. You need to just wrap it a little bit around and just try to change the direction of the ball, but unfortunately it didn't go in his favor at that distance.
So could also arguably state that that was the only clear-cut chance for Mighty Mufulira Wanderers in the first 45 minutes of this particular encounter. Let's talk about Robert Mwanza. We did mention that he didn't have so much of work to do, though. I was listening to commentary very keenly, but obviously at this particular moment there was a dead ball situation, an infringement, and the man of the moment, Kelvin Muwanga Kampamba, stepping up to take that particular free kick. And you could see that Power have utilized more of their set pieces in terms of finding themselves within the area for Mighty Mufulira Wanderers.
They have utilized set pieces, and if you look at Kampamba and how he hit it, my disappointment there comes with the striking partnership. Fwayo Tembo, you've got Pats and Daka there. I mean, the reaction is not definitely there, because Robert Mwanza's sparring of the ball was very dangerous. As a goalkeeper, you do not put it just in front of the play there, because really, if it wasn't for Warren Kunda, it would have been Power leading by 1.
Tell you what, and probably also how they did manage to secure their lines off that particular incident. They did survive, the home side of that particular incident. But that was not all in as far as the talking points were concerned. Let's talk about the goal now. They continued to mount pressure going forward.
They did continue to mount pressure, and I think in the water break before this attack, Mulenga Chewe told Katiba and Austin Banda that you need to use the flanks, and that's where it came from. I mean, it was one of those balls that has very few passes on it. He gets it and he puts it in that 18-yard box, and I think credit goes out to Raheem, because he was giving Kasonde a lot of pressure. The Ghanaian obviously just standing next to his shoulder, and Kasonde was genuinely looking to clear play, but unfortunately pressure does sometimes just give you a different picture of how life is, and he thought that maybe he was scoring a goal on the other side.
But tell you what, for Chewe, that was one of the most incredible moments for Mighty Mufulira Wanderers. But just before we went to the close of the first 45 minutes, Power Dynamos did come through. Also, Fwayo Tembo almost finding the back of the net, long throw from Kelvin Muwanga.
Kelvin Muwanga puts it in that middle of the pack. Patson Daka in the mix there. Fwayo Tembo just needed to use a little bit of composure. It was a snapshot as the ball came in. There was movement, but unfortunately for him, he was always moving behind. And as a striker, if you're moving behind, sometimes when you connect with the ball, it doesn't just go obviously in your favor. And the goalkeeper was beaten. The ball was going on the far post, which is where it was supposed to go. But the direction was just not perfect.
Tell you what, let's summarize the first 45 minutes of this particular encounter. All interesting for the home side. They do have that particular lead, courtesy of Francis Kasonde, on goal in the few closing minutes of the first 45 minutes of this game. Let's sum it up. 60% of action was taking place in the midfield. I was listening to you guys in commentary and you kept talking about the battle in the midfield. Benson Sakala, whole lot of work.
A whole lot of work. Benson very disappointing, not getting a lot of support play from his teammates. And really, when the likes of Benson Sakala and Kelvin Kampamba Muwanga have good afternoons, they tend to actually dominate play, Power Dynamos. But today they haven't dominated play. Alas, it's Mighty Mfulira Wanderers who've been controlling play, and they really deserve to be leading by 1-0.
So despite all those goal attempts, it is Power Dynamos that still had 2 goals as far as the shots on target is concerned. We had a forced substitution in White Monambaba. Not really a forced substitution, because just about as well about to kick off, then there was that particular change in the starting 11. Should they be considering it now?
Well, not necessarily. I think it was a like-for-like player who came on, Billy Mutale coming on for White. But more importantly for me, if you have a look at this Mighty Mfulira Wanderers team, they're playing with a lot of passion. They're playing with a lot of spirit. I mean, they're playing at home. And if you look at the options on the bench, I mean, they already brought in another substitution because Joseph Kasongo unfortunately had to leave. And the medical conditions is that he will recover.
So there you have it. That's the available options for both the sides this afternoon. Let's talk about Julius Tumbeko and Dimano Chimpinde. I've been hearing talk that if they could come in, they could change the tempo of this game. Do you feel that could be the solution to improve their tempo?
Well, it's not so much the tempo that Power need to change. It's just the mentality. First of all, they need to change the middle of the park in terms of just how they strap the game by the strap of his neck. They hold it. They need to just try to control play, stop Mighty from obviously just walking through the middle of the park. And in terms of the final third, they need to really just pass the ball and shoot at goal, because at the moment it looks like this Power don't realize that this is a Premier League match.
Prior, during our build-up, we didn't pick up your prediction for this game. It's only 45 minutes away to 90 minutes. Where do you see this game going?
I don't do half jobs. I don't do half jobs.
Anyway, I need a scoreline either way.
You need a scoreline. Well, I think Mighty are looking the better side of the two. I would expect them to pick up a result if they continue playing the way they were playing in the first half.
Kamba Mwenda Jr. had to tone down just to pick up that particular prediction in there. But tell you what, the first 45 minutes were not that much interesting, but let's look out for the second 45 minutes. The players are already walking back in the field of play. We expect that it will be interesting to watch the second 45 minutes. Stay with us right here on your World of Champions.
Welcome back to Shinde Stadium, where mighty Muflia Wanderers are leading by a goal to nil over Power Dynamos, courtesy of Francis Kasonde's own goal. And obviously that leaves a sour taste in the Power Dynamos mouth, but it was after massive pressure from the home side, and it eventually paid off just before going on the break. So you can expect retaliation, as it were, Power trying to get back into the game in order to really make the trip back to Kitwe shorter than it will be if they suffer a loss. And for Anderson Piru, since taking in charge, he has turned this Power side into, well, some team that has been chalking up some positive results. And Mighty, on this occasion, will want to build up on how it was in the last season. Power Dynamos did not manage to beat this side, and the story wants to continue in that fashion, as Mighty proved to be a hard nut to crack for the other Davis-based side. So 1-0, and the fans are loving it, and will be hoping that no mistake is made to allow Power Dynamos get back. It's Patson Daka that wins Power the first free kick of the second half, and pressure already for Mighty, but you can see Warren Kunda almost looking for some attention there, doesn't get it. And the ball floats in nicely, very dangerously for Muflia Wanderers. And here is Rahim, and his pass is almost good. And it's Austin Banda that did not arrive on the scene right on time, but good vision coming from the Ghanaian, Rahim Osamanu. Just trying to catch Power on a counter. Warren Kunda just sending the ball on to the other side. Two minutes played in the foreground. We'll be talking about what you can see on that side, but it's now going to be important for Power Dynamos to hold on to the ball as much as they can, deny or deprive Muflia Wanderers from having it as much as they did in the first half. The Ghanaian now impressing the home side, Rahim. And it's on him as well, Osmanu. He's in good position to try and get in that ball, and just needed to drop the ball nicely. He almost did not expect it to come through, as the home side continued to threaten Power Dynamos. Oh, but he is in need of attention. Doesn't seem to need medics to run through to him, but so far, well, it looks like he needs to be attended to, at least on the sideline, since he is walking already. Warren Kunda doing a lot of work at the back. They've been very, very busy, the Muflia Wanderers defense, in stopping Power from any caught funny ideas of trying to get in an equalizer. Foyo Tembo being heavily policed, a little bit of a complaint. Would have thought that he'd get some favor from the first assistant, but potentially this is the man that could take Power back into the game. Just to remind you, he scored in the last game against Green Eagles, and it would only end like that. Power collecting a vital 3 points from Green Eagles. And now chasing every ball. Must have been a lot of hard talk in the dressing room during the break. Power allowing Muflia Wanderers to really have too much chance winning almost every ball. This is Alan Kamwanga Jr., He's looking for shooting space. He doesn't get the return as Fire fights for the ball, and that's been the tendency today, where Fire is not being fed up front, he's feeding on crumbs, so he's forced to drop and fight for the ball. Raheem, oh, that does not look pretty at all. Oh, but he's up and standing. He would have expected the referee to look at him with favor.
Well, the physicality there doesn't help the matter much, and it comes from obviously Billy Mutale. He felt that maybe he needed a little bit more of protection, so to say.
Well, the referee just thinking he was on his way to fall anyway. But he becomes the most messed up player on the pitch. After that fall, this is Taonga Wembia. Sends the ball forward, trying to add pressure. Power Dynamos have to contend with the Mufule Wanderers throw in. Francis Kasonde. Well, he surely has gotten over that mistake. And it's back to business. Wembia with the throw in. And Kativa's pass is not complete. Would have loved to find Taonga on the run. The atmosphere simply great here at Shinde Stadium. Kampamba was searched, did find Simwala, who's fought to hold on to the ball. This is Benson Sakala, has pushed a little bit, tagged on by Austin Banda, winning Power Dynamo's free kick. And the referee just asking for a little bit of discipline.
Most certainly, and I think this Power side have really put themselves out there to try to pick up maximum points from this game. If you notice the shape, they're not really defending, but they're not allowing Power to really attack them that much.
And just outside the 18, Mudenda fighting for the ball, but Mighty Mufule Wanderers equal to the task. And it's a Raheem Osumanu that's being left as a lone striker up front. Benson Sakala for Power. And the substitute Eric Chiwe will add pressure as well. Larry Volia collects. And it's all for the equalizer. The goalkeeper comes out. And looks like there will be need for some attention. Yes, the referee calling for that.
Oh, it was a tag play, obviously. Patton Daka puts it in the middle. And Robert Mwanza actually just goes through and collide with his teammate. And obviously Alan Kamwanga Jr. there needs some attention. Is playing his heart out, owing obviously to the fact that this Power team definitely needs to have a bad day today. If Mighty are to pick up maximum points, Mighty need the 3 points. And Alan Kamwanga's father is actually in the stands. So, you know, that was the own goal being scored by Kasonde. And it was a cross coming through from Austin Banda. It was put in that area. And the Ghanaian Raheem was just putting a little bit of pressure on the Power Dynamo's captain, Francis Kasonde there. And he obviously duly obliged and just put it at the back of his net. He was really perplexed by that own goal. Pretty disappointing, I must say.
Well, you've got to get over these things in football. They do happen. And what's important is to try and do everything you can to add on to your side's fortunes in a very positive sense. For Power Dynamos, enjoying 5th position as against Mufule Wanderers 15th. Mufule Wanderers need to increase their winning tally. Only 1-1 so far, and that's certainly not very impressive. Power Dynamos have 5 victories to their credits. Throw in Power. Out goes the ball for a corner kick, and it might be Kampamba to take it. And Mufulira Wanderers do have to expect this kind of response from Power Dynamos. Robert Bonza jumping up and down as goalkeeper in there, looking for the shooting opportunities, not presenting itself. And the Wanderers have dropped every man to defend. And in the meantime, it is an opportunity to go forward. Power defend well, but only temporarily, because Tonga Wembia is on the ball, switching play to the near side, was looking for Austin Banda. Offside against Banda, who should really have retreated after not getting connection with the ball.
The danger in Power really pressing high in terms of attack play is that when this Mufulira Wanderers side gets their act together, the likes of Mike Katiwa and Austin Banda can really run. They've got pace, so they can hit this Power Dynamo side for pace and hit them on the counter.
For Tembo, looking a little bit lost there. He needs to be fed. He's not being as well fed as he should.